All right. Okay. And we are live, I think. All right, go, Gans. Take us through it.
The fuck?
Right. Yeah, Gans, you're on.
I don't know how a post-mortem goes, so I'm following your lead.
So the first question is the task finished?
Yes. All of the meshes are in. Everything is modeled. Yeah, there's a tiny little bit of work just to like line things up, but basically everything's in.
So it's not finished.
Fuck off. It's all finished. It's all in. One thing I have noticed though as well, because now the blocks have grown into real buildings, that they actually have like windows stuff open out. We've had to just sort of space the buildings a little bit more, so that they're not cramped and like overlap with each other. But to be honest, it actually looks a lot nicer than having a bit of room between each other.
Yeah, but that's gonna affect the jumps, right?
I will heavily playtest them and make sure the routes don't change. And if they change, then I'll find a way to fix it and keep those jumps there. I'm pretty sure looking at it, it's not going to make any differences because it's not on the transition areas. Like I say, I will take responsibility on heavily playtesting that and making sure that the core jumps don't change.
Okay. But can you do a fly through like from like one end to the other, and then we can start to check, you know, the things. No, actually, can you do a fly through as you were
okay.
like jumping around?
Right. Okay.
Some nice lash lines. Oh, it's a cool section.
Bit hard to try and keep control of the camera speed.
Oh,
I mean,
is that bridge going to nowhere? That's just out of curiosity.
No, it's like a support structure thing.
No, like behind you. Oh, it's a little water fountain. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
no, it's a fountain thing.
That's cool. That's interesting.
Over, up,
That is cool.
through, up this. I haven't been in here. Where's the maintenance shaft?
Okay, okay, go on.
Oh, that's up. Found it. My first time in there.
wow. Okay, this is the new.
Wow.
Wow. That is like such a nice view.
That view is insane. Like, what?
Oh, wait, can we go back there for a sec? I just want to appreciate that again. That's fucking sick.
It's honestly it's a little hard to pick a fly through because there's so many routes here.
Oh my god.
Damn. That is sick. What the fuck?
Yes, over here.
And the funny thing that he just went on a straight line, but I'm pretty sure if you look down, there are like a billion more details, right? To appreciate,
Yeah,
oh my
god. That's a whole other level. It's quite hard to do a fly through this section because there's like 100 different routes through it.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I like pretty much everything about it. Actually, I like everything about it. Minus the part that you did, Gans.
Ignore
I
those.
don't know which
I've-
one, but
I've
there
somehow
must be.
moved those over by accident.
Love it. Oh, sick.
Oh, actually, sorry, no. You come over through this door. Wait for the light to catch up.
Oh,
Oh my god.
And
This
then
is so cool.
up through here. Back through this door. Upstairs. Climb up stuff.
oh yeah. Here for that. No jump.
What's really good is as well, I haven't seen, this is the first time I'm seeing Florian Skyscraper, so I don't know the route, and I'm sort of working it out as I fly, and it's not that hard, which is a good sign. There's sort of, there's ledges where I'm expecting there to be ledges. That's quite nice. And then we're up at RTA.
Yeah, so good, that final view, like I can't wait till the background and the rest of the view is fleshed out.
Oh, no.
Like that's gonna be terrifying climbing up that thing.
Yeah. Imagine it in real life.
Fucking massive, isn't it?
Yeah, and we don't
It's
have,
huge.
you know, the background bit, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you want to jump off that?
I just wanted to get the view because the camera's
Yeah.
different, obviously in third person. You got different field of view in that. Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Oh my.
Yeah, you feel high. Like you can get that sense of scale now.
There we go. Yeah.
So
Yeah, with the background city, everything. Yeah, it's gonna be.
yeah, man. That's an achievement to climb up to that.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Eat yourself off one time.
That's
You
pretty
should-
cool.
Jesus, you're in the air for
Ah.
ages.
That's good though. That's good. That's what you want. An arm grab.
Yeah.
And stick.
I'm grabbed to nowhere.
But yeah. That's the level. All the meshes are in.
Okay, so well, can you go now into all of the other parts that you didn't go through in the fly through? Like there are lots of details and yeah, a lot of like secondary bits that I think they are worth exploring.
Yeah. So that,
Yeah,
there's
like
a whole
stuff like that, right? They are so details, and we didn't even bother like going there. It's
whole climbing section around the back of this building. Little area in here. I kind of want to put a load of more stuff here. I kind of want to make this like almost like a little playground or jungle type thing, but not in a way that ruins it. So I need to come back to that. But that's mine. It doesn't have to be there necessarily. What else do we? Oh yeah, it's a whole section here.
yeah,
One thing
quite
I
like
noticed
these.
is
There's these balconies you
sorry,
can descend down as well.
yeah,
I'm not entirely sure how you get back up afterwards, but you can descend down them.
We've definitely got to a level of detail where you want to explore this place, and just like moving around and kind of seeing what's around the next corner is already satisfying and fulfilling. So that's like a huge fucking achievement. And I mean, it looks like it's impactful just visually. It's like fucking, it looks and feels like a city. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
so
also-
incredible.
Whole building here as well that we didn't look at actually.
oh, little double. Is that coffee cup on the little?
Yeah,
The coffee
I
cup.
know that's guns. That's guns at work if I've ever seen
yeah, it is.
it.
Yeah, I really like the fact that pretty much from every angle it looks interesting. Yeah, like for example here looks in. Yeah, look, what is that like trapezoid thing just in the middle of the view there? See, there are a lot of details that they are like very
Right
funky.
in the middle foreground or background?
A background, you know, like that one, yeah, that one. What is that area there? See, there are so many things, yeah, so many details there. And can you go into the side of the building, the side of the big residential building? Because I saw some crazy details in there. Yeah, here, like what the hell? Yeah.
My God, look at the
You really want
descent.
crazy details? Where is it? I take it out detail lighting. Is if you look through these windows, there's an actual interior as well.
Oh my God.
Oh, are they window? I think they should be open, right? They should be.
It could be at the moment, but then we struggle quite a lot with like these slanted things anyway.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but David can fix
if
it.
David fixes it, then yeah, we could take the glass out.
Yeah, you guys can relax. Keep them their windows. Yeah.
Yeah. No, go back to the other line because
that and looking through and be like, hold on a minute, what is in there?
go back where the windows are nice. No, I mean from the lighting point of view because I really don't like the.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I see what you mean.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, just my.
And then there's like a whole side over here as well that we haven't looked at.
Yeah.
Just the sense that God, the sense here, man. Gee, look at the pillars. Whoa.
Yeah, like the descent racing down the side of that building.
Oh my
God! Imagine
look
like
what
two of them
in
trying to
the.
get to the bottom.
Oh mate, I can just see races. Like I'm just like get from like top to bottom, get from bottom to top, like just you know what I mean? Infinite amount. God, all of it's so sick.
Yeah, and then we've got like an entire floor down here as well. It's like almost a city in and of itself.
I know it feels like it to be honest. Well, to be fair, I think that hits the residential vibe spot on. Like a little, yeah, that kind of that aesthetic of like your own little community within your skyscraper community feels dead on. This feels super residential, to be fair. Wow.
Yeah, I like those voids there. Just gives a very good sense of height and scale, right? There was a bit in which you were at the top of some set of stairs and you looked down and they had this intricate, you know, like intricate set of stairs, almost like some e-shirts or something, right?
Was it one of these or?
Yeah, I don't know, like, but there was, you know, a view in there which really gave you like vertigos just looking down all of those stairs. It was like.
Oh, there's quite a few places on this map that will give you vertigo. When you look down, you see the different.
Yeah, we look down and see, yeah,
like descending away from you.
Can we see that black pit of yours?
Oh, this.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
yo, what?
I mean, I've got the one over here as well. Which
Wait,
I don't know why these.
pipes. Oh man,
Gans failed failed the review. Miserably.
Fixed it. It's all good.
Yeah,
Mosfas is nice to look at anyway.
I mean, we zoom in on the pipes and the detail on it. Like what?
Lumen's struggling a little bit.
Oh, that's lovely, Guns.
Yep. It's fun.
Oh man. Pit escapes throughout the freaking mate.
Yeah, this is our level.
So, yeah, I guess the question is, are we? Oh, actually, before we, can you go to the helipad, the one with the crazy details on the pillar? I know that we already showing previously, but you know, I just want to, yeah, new people to appreciate the crazy details there. Yeah, it's yeah, such every angle is nice. Every angle you look upon. I wish we had all of the background cities. Yeah, in the background.
We'll get them. We'll get them eventually.
So yeah, I think so. So modeling wise, you guys are confident that that is there's always gonna be bits and pieces to correct the stuff that's not very important, but the most important thing is that you guys are happy with the bulk of the modeling. No, can we call it final, like modeling wise?
For the playable level, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's, like I say, there's very tiny bits just to connect meshes up where, like, I've worked on one, Monster's worked on one, and we've only got them today, so we just have to sync the floor up. But like, it's like a 2-minute job.
Yeah. And I guess I guess for Drew is it. Are you guys happy that we can do a lot of parkour here, or do you think there is still something that we need to adjust? I don't know. Is Drew still here?
Still in the call. He's muted at the moment.
He's muted. Okay.
But yeah, so going forward for the rest of the month, we've got a little bit of modelling left to do, nowhere near to this standard, but just for this like plaza section on the inside, well, you need that sort of middle ground between main and procedural. I'm gonna jump in a call with Mossberg later on that, finalize some plans on it, and then get back to you and Drew to make sure you're happy with the designs. But other than that, yeah, it's on to lighting, background city, texturing materials, foliage, things like that. That's what we're on to, adding colour to the world.
Okay, so that is for the end of the month, right? Are you still happy about that?
Yeah, so we went through most of it earlier, and it looks like we'll make the end of the month. It's going to be tight, so I think realistically it's maybe going to be a week into what's after July? August. It might be like a week into August, but it's looking tight but decent for the end of the month. But yeah, it might go a week or so past. Right, so depends on how wrong things go.
Okay. Yeah, so let's let's plan it in a way that the first week we can call it final, because we don't want to do, last week we are delayed and then we're all stressed and then we need to add another week anyway. This goes.
Yeah.
If you think that we could be late, we will be late, right? Almost. And if you're not, by sheer miracle, then we just use that week to either go on the next thing or just make it even better, right? But let's keep it first week of August. But like that is the real final one. We cannot get another extra week, otherwise we start adding. So I guess a couple of things. So basically, me and David, we really need to basically test this level now pretty much exclusively, I guess, because I think that is where we will find most of the problems, right? I think maybe just a tiny bit of testing locally on our quick level, just to get the basic stuff going, the core stuff going. But then for the most part, I think we just need to test on this, starting to test on this. how big is all of this like data in terms of like size on disk?
I'm not sure off the top of my head. Is there a way to check how big the level is, or do I just have to check the repo size?
No, what the repo size will have all of the, other, because we have the crit level and all the other levels, so it's gonna be a bit of a nightmare. But that, never mind for that. We just we just take it wherever it is. In regards of the animated section, like I saw that we had some animated roofs and the escalators, the lift and stuff. What is the status of those elements?
The animated rooftops are fine. They work, but I haven't seen any issues with those, but they're super simple anyway. The elevators will need sorting out. They'll need redoing in code. They're a little bit touch and go at the moment. They work as placeholders. But yeah, we have had issues with them, so they'll need redoing.
So where are the elevators in
So there's a couple they're not spawned in at the moment. But there's a couple attached to this side of the skyscraper.
Yeah.
There is, where are we? There is one here. There's one here. And there's one here.
Okay, and they have pretty much the same logic.
They're all the same. Yeah, they're the same system. I'll go through it with you or someday this week if you want. They're all the same system. It's set up so you can just swap the meshes out. But yeah, there are problems with the system.
Okay, and in terms of the meshes, they're all there. We just need to write the logic, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We've got the elevator meshes. The modeling is done for it.
Yeah. Okay. And so in terms of the ground level, I think that is my main concern for these milestones. What are your plans?
So we've got flooring on, carrying on with the procedural city for most of the month. Clean up send that at the end. And then I need to go through it in more detail, Mustafa, but I've got a plan for this central area. They would have sort of like train or an underground station here, pathways that lead out to meet the procedural city, a sort of like leisure area, and then some shops and kiosks that dotted around that are going to be modeled to lesser quality than this because it's not very accessible and there's going to be fog and stuff, but good enough to act as a bridge visually between this area and the background. Yeah, so it's only this central section that's going to be done bespoke, and then the rest will just join into the procedural city.
This might be like a technical conversation, but like I was imagining that the ground level was playable because some of the missions and like gameplay opportunities are going to be kind of scaling up and down the side of the big buildings and like evading security. But is it like what's the issue with making the ground playable?
The issue at the moment is just time to make it. I think in terms of getting it done for after early access, I could see us doing it. But with how much work we've got to do by the early access release, I think it's better to just keep the gameplay on the rooftops, and then if we've got spare time at the end, we can do like a curated linear path to get up the roofs. But until we've got that time, I think it's probably better to focus on the map we've already got that we know works, basically.
Makes sense. Yeah, I'm with you. Nice.
So the problem is time related to the quality, right? Because we're gonna have some ground level, but we cannot get it to the same quality, right? Of the rest.
Not in the time frame we've got, no. Especially if we've got the council estate and the construction level as well.
Yeah. Okay. We always had well, we had this idea about this train station, train track. Like how I still don't have it quite clear in my head. What is the like what is the structure for that? What is the logistics? Like, can you travel by train? Like, is it underground train? Is that overground? How is that?
So the plan I've got in my head at the moment is that primarily it's just the thing to sort of ground the buildings in the world. Like, there's a way to get to them and that. So it's just a static structure to make it fit in the city. And then if at any point we want to use it to connect it to the council estate level or to the construction site, or if the skyscrapers are on a peninsula and we want to connect it, the train station is like an easy way where we can hide loading screens on a train. And then we've already got the model there. It would just need revamping a little bit. So to begin with, it serves visually, makes the city feel real, and then it's a little bit of future proofing if we want to use it to connect levels.
Can we make an actual train system there? Like, because I'm kind of envisioning gameplay wise, like something running through the cities a lot, like feels quite dynamic as well. For like, I don't know, like mission wise, one of the coolest things I think we sick to have is like kind of race the tube is like a race mission.
Race the tube or
and jumping on the roof of the DLR like would be so fun. Awesome, I love that.
Because one thing I think I'm noticing now, I think, well, it's not that we lack, but to add is like more dynamic elements in the level, like things that make it feel alive. So like a train or like a crane that is moving and stuff like that, I think will really make the city feel active in a way and not just meshes, if that makes sense.
So at the moment, in terms of that, just as easy ones, we've got the moving rooftops. We've got a couple little ones, like this rooftop slides open here. These blind things like close and open, and then the bigger one that I need to add, which is quite easy, is like a football stadium style sliding roof here. It will open and close. But yeah, in terms of trains and cranes, things like that, again, it's just like if we've got time for it, then happy days, put it in.
I'd almost say that is like quite important, I think, in terms of making the city really feel alive in that way. Because like, those like definitely add to it, but I don't know if they like bring the whole like movement of the city as a whole. Do you know what I mean? Like obviously like NPCs, everything like that, definitely like cars and shit, all that kind of stuff. But like an element that kind of runs through and around the city, I think could really, really kind of bring it to a whole new level.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just a case we just got to work out what level we want to do it to. Because if it's not player accessible, we could just have a low poly train in the background doing a loop around the city. And that, in theory, shouldn't take that long to set up. If you want it player accessible, then it becomes a much bigger job.
But it has to be player accessible to unlock those missions, but mainly, like, how do you get to this part of the map? So let's say that you start from the council estate and you go through the construction side, but then at some point, like, you're not automatically teleported to a random rooftops, right? You need to get there somewhere, no?
Well, there was remember we were talking about the idea of transferring from the construction site to the skyscrapers from a crane.
Yeah, that feels good.
And I think in the original, like SketchUp by Sam, and won't like doubt the
other. Drew, I don't know if it's only me, but you were breaking up.
I got about half of that.
Yeah, sorry. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, I think it's better.
It's just really delayed then.
Okay, yeah, try now.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying, like, walking down the arm of a crane could be the moment where we kind of load out the old level, like construction site, and do the new one, basically.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Is the construction site planned to be next to the skyscraper level then?
I think so.
Yeah, that in theory they're all next to each other, like part of the same city. But how we do that technically is kind of what is going to be our limitation. Like if we need a massive motorway in between so that we can kind of, you know what I mean, clearly distinguish it and not make it the last level accessible from the new one.
In that case, I'd probably say the like solving the problem of like how do we get onto the rooftops will have to be one we work out as we get the plan for the other levels, so we know how they connect. Because we could come up with 100 different ways to get to the rooftop, but until we know what the construction site looks like or what point it joins up to. Because if you wanted to do the crane arm thing, then yeah, you could just have them as two separate levels, and we pick a point that we like the player to start on, and we just have a crane there. So, but until you've got both designs, it's a bit hard to work out how they'll jigsaw into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the general idea is that you use cranes, right, from the construction site to go onto the rooftops of the skyscrapers, right? That is the basic idea. How we do it is, yeah.
I didn't know they were going to be that close to each other, but yeah, if they're that close to each other, it solves the problem.
Yeah, I don't know, like, Drew can tell me better, but my idea is that they are all, a continuous thing in a way, right? You start from the council estate, but the council estate, is the neighbor to the construction site. The construction site is the neighbor of the skyscrapers, and then, like,
yeah,
I think potentially you should be able to basically walk from the council to the skyscrapers, right? Or traverse, right?
In that case, then, two things. One, it's just a problem we'll have to keep revisiting as we get to levels and make them and play test it, work out what feels good to have where. And you'll have to liaise with Florian about his procedural city tool so that he's not like, to make sure he's left space for the construction site and the council estate, things like that. Because at the moment, his tool just handles everything that's outside of this rectangle.
Yeah, right now, but yeah, we can make a bigger rectangle, right?
Yeah, it's just like I say, once we know where things are going to go, then we start linking them up. It's just hard to answer it now if you don't know what they are.
Yeah, because
especially in terms of because you were asking about how we were going to do the ground level, and we're currently kind of figuring out how we kind of transition from the procedural tool to the elements that are in the center of the current map. And if we have another completely different map next to it, it's kind of obsolete to like break our minds over it. About like the transition area in between the current meshes and the procedural meshes.
I mean, we can have a big cheat in that we have, like, the construction site has got some, enormous, enormous, like, walls of buildings that completely obstruct the view, or almost completely obstruct the view. So it's like once you're over that big barrier, then you are basically into the procedural skyscraper part, but before that you are into the procedural construction site part, and before that you are into the procedural council estate part, in a way. I think if we have if you think about Manhattan, like a very skewed rectangle, a very long rectangle, right? So we can have those barriers in the middle, and because the rectangle is very skewed, it's a lot longer than wider, then maybe we can have those artificial barriers to occlude the view. But I think it would be cool if you could see the skyscraper map or some silhouette of the skyscrapers from the council estate, for example. I think that could be quite an awesome view. Of course, we will need to look into optimizations and all those things.
You're gonna have to learn it, like, because I think the whole point is that when you're in the council estate or the skyscraper, you can see the story of how one became the other, or like how the council estate became the skyscraper, and how from the skyscraper how this became from that. So you kind of get the narrative that the whole world is trying to sell. Because if you can't see the skyscraper, it is just the council estate level, which is great. But to tie it into the overarching theme of like, you know, like the modernization of everything, you know, you kind of have these three stages of, you know, very brutalist council. You're tearing that down and starting to build, you know, this corporate thing. So you have remnants of the council, like some remnants of the new stuff, and then you get this sick, big old corporate bit. But if you can't see them or feel that, you know, they go from A to C, then you kind of lose that kind of storytelling aspect of it.
Yeah, so I think like it's for the reason that I was wondering if we could design, because again, like going back to the rail track, to the train station thing, right? I think it has to be, right, a sort of a train that goes pretty much onto, you know, a sort of straight line between the council and the skyscraper, and you know, it needs to be there somewhere, because yeah, otherwise it's I don't know, I think it's missing something, right? It just if we want to keep the continuity of the levels, then we cannot have elements in which you are automatically teleported to a new part of the level. Otherwise, we just lose that impactfulness.
I definitely agree with you for the final release, but for early access, I think we can get away with it if we don't have time to join them all up.
I think so too.
Yeah,
because I've played every early access game I've ever played has a fraction of what we've already got in one level. If we've got
what about the train is adding the timescale so much though? That's the thing.
Just the having to model it to a certain quality, all the stations, everything that goes past, the route from the ground up to the building, things like that. It's just like we've got a lot to do. We're a small team and a small time frame. If it's for early access, I focus on just getting the levels looking good and playing well, and then if we've got time at the end, connect them all up. If not, then we connect them after early access. It would be my vote, just for realistic expectations.
Yeah, I see your point, but coding wise, it will require you know, it's completely different if you're planning a strategy, especially for multiplayer, right? If you're planning a strategy in which you need to have a continuous streaming continuous streaming mechanism to, you know, go seamlessly from one level to the next. It's just basically, you know, stream after, you know, stream, you know, the big part, the small part, and then you do all that trick. Which I think coding wise we need to have anyway. And if we say, oh yeah, you teleported to another level, that is, it may help the artist side, but it will impact the coding side, because basically we will have to diverge into two different complete paths. And so basically we need to throw away like all of it once we hit early access, which is no idea. Not because of the throw away the thing stuff, but because we basically we did twice as much the job that we knew that we would have done, we would have needed to do anyway. But okay, so
further, it also depends on like we also need to decide exactly how the multiplayer sessions will function, because like this, to be fair to them, like, is it, you know, these sessions that you join and you're hosted in a specific area, but then you can traverse these different levels together, or is it like, for example, like you see how Skate does it, where you join a lobby in a place, and that is, which I think that will dictate how we have to then approach the level. Does that make sense? Rather than
Yeah,
Or either
but
way, but we need to decide on which way the multiplayer will actually function in terms of multiple players being together. Like, because is it like an open world generally? Like you hop in the lobby, you can be wherever in XYZ in the map, and you remain in that same session.
yeah, I don't know. But even for the single player, right? Having a strategy in which you need to stream the, because we need to stream the levels, or part of the levels, right? You know, like that world partition thing, because we cannot,
Yeah.
you know, we cannot load all of the details at the back of this map from the council estate, right? So we will have to have that strategy, and yeah. I mean, if it's the case that we need more people to accomplish that, then we can see how we can add that to the budget, or how can we reshuffle the budget. For example, one thing is that we don't pay Gans ever again, and we get a couple of new artists. Okay, so let's take the train thing offline for now. But I think we will need very soon to at least make a call on that, because I think that will interfere with a lot of other, other planning and decisions, right? Having a raid track or not is quite a big, chunk of the design, right? So we cannot just ignore it. Okay, so apart from that, so the background buildings, right? The one that Florian is doing procedurally. Are those a trivial task, or do we still have some question marks over those?
In terms of their complexity?
Yeah, in terms of like, can we have them by the end of the month in a way that we are confident that,
for
they
sure.
are...
They're gonna be ready by the end of the month, but they're still a very complex task.
Okay, yeah.
Because I don't only want to like generate one type of building, and this building is very plain and primitive. I want to generate a couple of different buildings which all have different types of details as well, so that you really get this kind of feeling of a real city. So there's quite a complex element to it, but it's definitely doable by the end of the month.
Okay. So Gans, how is the schedule for that? Do we have a, like, basically, Florian, are you gonna do that by the, like, you're only gonna look after the procedural background, right? You're not taking any other jobs, right?
For the time being, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, Gans, did you put that into the plans? So Florian is exclusively on the background of the building backgrounds, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. I've got a job right at the end of the month. If he gets to it, if he doesn't, then I'll pick it up instead. It's just some like making some logos for brands to slap on doors and shit. But it's one of those where I've got it on him at the moment, but it's just whoever gets there first.
Okay. Okay, so background buildings is a Florian only. By the end of the month, is complex, but is doable. And if you feel that, like, coming, next week, you said, it's a bit too much, I don't feel like it, then tell us, and we're gonna restructure the thing. So in terms of the materials, who is looking for you know, that is a big job, right? Who is
So-
making this thing looking even more beautiful?
At the moment, I've got myself on it at the start with Mostafa joining me later, because I had it as me and Mostafa doing like the that central ground stuff that needed modeling. I was going to do the streets and have him on the buildings. I'd imagine I'd finish the streets first, so I was going to start the materials, and then once he finishes the buildings, comes to join me.
So you and Mustafa are on the materials for now. Well, Mustafa needs to do some other extra bits, but then materials mainly. Okay.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah.
Okay, fine. And then Francesco by the end of the month.
So we've got Francesco on, to begin with, atmospherics, so fogs and clouds, and how we're gonna, a little bit of R&D, how we're gonna handle those. And then level lighting and foliage.
Okay, and what about like props and, you know, all of those more details and stuff?
I mean,
they're
to be
mostly
honest,
there, I see, so that...
yeah, a lot of the props have been made along the way, and if we start adding many more, it's going to start being quite difficult to move. If it gets to the point where we find places that are just empty and they need some more, it might just be one or two props that need making here and there. For the most part, I think they're basically done.
Okay, no, yeah, okay, let me rephrase that, sorry, because props is not a word that I like. The details of, yeah, the fine-grained details, did you account for that? Because one thing is, you know, putting textures and, you know, materials and stuff, but then the other thing is just going through, you know, one of those, you know, details that really makes it, yeah, really makes it.
As
I don't know how to explain.
in, like vertex painting and decals? Or...
Yeah, or so if you can you load up a video of a new game, the new version of, what's the name of that game? Perfect Dark, I think it's called. And there is a bit of the city which has just a lot of detail. Yeah, like the first one, yeah. Like if you go yeah, if you go to the bit where, yeah, there where it goes into the city. No, just go a little bit.
Oh, you want actual gameplay?
Yeah, okay, here, right? So like, so I think from a modeling point of view, we are pretty much at this like level of, you know, at this level. I think we are easily, you know, we can easily compete with them from a, you know, modeling point of view. But you see how they have, yeah, like lots and lots of details, right? It's like, for example, look at this floor, like all of these, you know, details on the floor, these beautiful marble things, and you know, I feel that there is a lot more like details that we need, that is not, that goes beyond like a simple like, oh, just put a material on this thing. It just, you know, they had, you know, like, yeah, the vertex painting there to have a little bit of moss and dirt into the edges. I know that it's all clean and stuff, we don't want to, but like, you know, like all of those extra bits, did you like, because I think that is what it could make it could make the deadline sleep.
I mean, I was sort of grouping that in with materials, like materials, textures, vertex painting, decals. Like, yeah, I was sort of just, from when I worked on the Crete level, for example, that I grouped that all together as one different steps of the one process.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I haven't done it on a level of this scale, so it's something I'm going to have to maybe every couple of days keep track of and see how far behind we're falling.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was just grouped in as part of that large process.
Can I add something really quick?
Yeah.
This game is a first-person type of camera-wise, so it's kind of important that some elements or little details stick up quite much. But in our case, where it's way more fast-paced and of course in third person, I think that most of those type of details in normals and sometimes in displacement are gonna be way more than enough. But this is my personal point of view, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to feel right? It needs to feel, yeah, it needs to feel that it's not, like, not cheap, right? It's like, it needs to feel that we wanted to have that style rather than we are not good enough to have that style, and then we do something, like that is not up to the standards. Like, yeah, it needs to feel like, okay, like we want to go there, like we want to have that specific style, and not yeah, it looks a little bit shit because they're not good enough. There is sometimes there is a fine line between those those two.
With that too, though, one thing, like, because we do mention about the other stuff, is that it's got to be like iterative though. With that, like, to be fair to him, is a lot of this, like, I guess the added detail that you're referencing is also very, very relevant to gameplay. So like, they can't necessarily go ahead and add whatever without the consideration of how, because like this, for example, nothing's happening, like they're not jumping between bits, so you can add all the wires and cables and bins and everything that you care about in this environment. Whereas I think in a level, the main focus though, even when adding all of those details, is does it hinder or does it make gameplay better? And if at any point it hinders gameplay, then we have to really assess whether or not we actually want it. So I think that's more like the physical assets that are collidable, rather than like leaves and grounds. There's like, obviously there's no details, but like here, like you've got like trees and stuff. If we're adding bin bags and things, are these collidable? Will they interfere with routes? Like, gameplay has to be the driving factor when kind of designing that level of adding that kind of details, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, we have a different type of challenges, but at the same time similar type of challenges, because okay, like if we look at this like still frame, if you look on the right of it, those vertex painting on the feet, like those details there, they're very nice and they really sell the structure of the place. So we need to get to, we maybe don't want to have that, rusty fingernails for sure, but we need to have something, to that standard that conveys whatever we want to convey without looking, cheap, because we are in a very particular situation, because like now that we have some very beautiful modeling, we need to match up to beautiful lighting, beautiful materials, beautiful detailing, because otherwise, like, we have this masterpiece of modeling, and then, like, I don't know, if you have very bad textures, then all the users will see is like very bad textures, right? So now we have we raised the bar a lot, and we need to keep the bar at that level. And it's not like it's the challenge of making a high quality game.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of that we've done, like you and I done on that weekend when we was doing the Crete level, for example, and researched a lot of that.
Yeah.
And it's just, at least in my mind, they're all steps of the same process. Like, once you apply the material, you do the vertex painting and the decals and that, and then you go on to the next area. So like, as you're putting the material down and it's fresh in your mind, you're scratching it up, weathering it, whatever. And it is that sort of like step-by-step iterative process, rather than like material everywhere, now vertex paint everywhere.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, dead on.
No. Okay, perfect. Right. So, so guys, do you have the plan? How did you split the sprint from here to the end of the month? Do you have the plan?
It's on the Miller note at the moment.
Okay.
It's not completely final. It needs a little bit of like cleaning up and stuff. But it's the bulk of it's on the Miller note right now.
Okay. Is that on a 2-week sprint?
I've got it on 3 weeks, so the rest of this month basically. 1, 2,
Yeah,
3.
the
Oh,
rest of the
3 in a
month.
couple of days.
Okay. Okay, we.
But I've got it broken down week by week.
Okay, yeah, we'll take this offline because it's not very relevant to most of us. But yeah, we try to get it to split it. A little bit more granular. Nice, perfect. So, yeah, do you wanna do the last fly through for the stream and then we call it a day?
Yeah, give me 1 sec.
For the art guys as well, from the programmer side, our aim is to get you a stable version this week. Obviously, as soon as possible, but I've said this last week and it didn't happen, but the aim really is this week. The aim is this week, so you got like, to be fair to you guys, we're saying test shit, but a lot of stuff is broken. So hopefully, this week, you guys can really get in there and start to understand how gameplay is. And we'll go through together as well. Because I think we got to play. All of us need to, maybe even one session where we all just play for an hour together, and make notes on what's good, what's bad, what doesn't work. Maybe Friday. I don't know if people are around that day. It's at the show and tell. We all just play together. It might be handy to really get a feel for what do you say, sir?
Yeah, works for me. Sorry, I thought you guys finished.
Oh no, just to get a feel of what's good, what's bad, like gameplay wise, what needs work, and then level wise, what kind of where it's at in more of a complete sense. So if just tentatively keep that in your notes for Friday to get, if we can merge up together, then wherever the level's at, we'll merge with gameplay and have a play session.
Yeah, sounds good.
Love this entrance.
Quick question for audio wise. This area is like residential. Do you want me to I don't know, obviously we don't have people walking around, but do you want it like implied that like there's muffled sounds from inside the buildings and stuff, like hearing people going about their day and shit?
Yes, definitely. And we also need to think about people walking around, right? Because, there must be, as for example, in this area here, there must be people like doing, NPCs doing absolutely nothing. But, we can all leave it completely empty. So, it's, we need to have some voices, background sounds and, there were also I think coming from buildings. I don't know how powerful how to attenuate those, but yes, I think definitely I think a mix of both. Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll work on that. So this week I'll probably have that pretty figured out, or at least a pretty rough version of it. I could have that by the end of the week.
Super.
With that, Brandon, as well. I was sorry, though.
I know. I just wanted to ask. Do you have will you have this final level, Brandon?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an instance from Guns, so I'm right up a date with it.
I haven't pushed the combined version into merger yet. That'll happen at the end of the day. I just barely made it in time for this, so by the end of today, you'll have the full level. Yeah.
What were you gonna say, David?
Oh no, but basically, I was gonna obviously I don't know what your plan is now currently, but something that like in terms of like the player sounds, because one thing I think may happen is that as the materials and the environment starts to change, so will like the need for like what sounds or where. But one thing I think it will stay pretty consistent throughout is the sounds the player make, which is something that I'm kind of noticing when I play now, gameplay wise, is lacking. So I don't know where like the player sounds kind of sits in your priority arc, but wondering if at some point we could maybe during this sprint put a little time towards getting some of those done, because I think it might help the feeling of playing, because those are a bit more less subject to change rather than, I don't know, like a section here that actually turns into something else because there's now construction around it and so the sounds change.
Yeah, currently in my like mind, they're kind of last, because it's a lot, right? So it really does change throughout the entire map, because if you put a metal straight down, now I need to have a metal footstep sound for when you touch it, or a roll sound, or if you fall from 10 feet, there needs to be that loud of a sound hitting that grate versus a 20-foot fall. Versus if there's water or concrete or pebbles or grass or dirt, all those are different sounds. So it's quite a lot of collecting and stuff like that for player sounds if you want it to actually be fully fleshed out. So in my mind, that's kind of something that in my mind will start to be worked on a bit more once there's like funding and there can be more than just like me. Because I remember when I first got brought on the team, I did a quick like rough estimate, and just for footsteps alone, it's something like 1,400 sounds I'll need to capture. Because you need like 10, per material type, and then Drew is a different size than Binge and a different size than Max, so the sound is different. Obviously, that's to the very extreme, but in my mind, that's something that will push once maybe I can have like another audio person on board with me, or maybe like someone that directly codes, because I know that now we're doing it in the coding, and I don't know how to do that. So I think, that's something that I guess maybe if we want to get more deep into figuring out like specific timelines, maybe you, me, and Dotto can have a little meeting and try to figure that out. But in my mind, environmental sounds are the most important now, and we could even kill the player sound. So there's no footsteps, no grunts. And I think that with the music and environmental sounds, people won't even really notice that it's missing.
Because I would actually argue the opposite. Like playing the game, like what I found very obvious is the lack of sound from the player, not necessarily the world. In the sense of like when the player lands, the fact that you don't hear or feel anything from the landing impacts more than hearing the environmental ambience in a way. So like I would almost say, for like if we had no environmental sound, but the player reacting really, really nicely to the world, would be better for early access than full environmental sound and no player sounds. Obviously, we'd like it, kind of that's up for discussion, whatever. But like playing the game, the lack of player sounds detrimentally impact gameplay, whereas the lack of environment sounds, I don't think would.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely, I can shift gears and work towards that. That I won't have that anything done for that for a while, because I have to go collect like a lot of sounds and work them. But if we want to try to get like, I guess, some specific sounds, like you're saying, like big impact sounds or something like that,
maybe just the core one.
We can figure that out and work on that coming up and try to get that done by the end of the month. That will also, again, I'm gonna have to work with someone that codes to code in that when they hit.
Yeah, we'll set up. I can do that with you.
But I can gather the sounds and we can start figuring out what that code looks like to play that, and I can start gathering the sounds for large impacts, I guess, is kind of the main thing that is what you brought up. So if we want to move forward with large impacts, I can start recording and finding those sounds this month and get that worked out.
Okay, cool. Let's let's have a call this week, or whenever you're free next, at some point this week. Kind of decide what are the core elements, both environment and gameplay, that we want to have sound for. and then maybe even just limit our scope. Because this doesn't really have much to do with the art guys, but kind of does. But so I wouldn't drag it on much here. But maybe if we set out like a little bit of a scope for ourselves and a bit of a sprint, audio wise, and then we can create the audio systems and the code for that, and then let you just plug stuff in as and when you have it.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Sweet.
Wind and atmosphere was the only other thing that I just thought of. We had the discussion about before that I think from a sound perspective will add so much impact. Just in terms of making the skyscrapers feel high, like having a sense of wind and like, I don't know, that atmosphere, I think will be really sick.
Do you want me to show you what I have thus far? I don't know if you've ever seen any of what I have thus far, Drew.
No, I probably haven't actually. But
Alright,
yeah, that'd be sick.
I'm gonna start up on the highest skyscraper here. I shared my screen. I don't.
Yeah.
Here, let me mute the music.
Oh yeah.
So.
Right, it's so good.
And let me. So you can hear the volume of it currently, and I have it at different heights. So if I jump down here, this is the tallest area, so all this volume is basically going to be the same. But if you can hear that, a lot of that. I need the dynamic wind system set up still. I don't know why I fell into this building, but you can hear that we're lower, so there's less wind. Let me move to a different spot here to make that a little bit easier to hear. There's less wind down in this lower area because we're not as high. So basically, the higher you go, there's more wind. I have that set up currently. And then I have a dynamic wind system that I just need to, again, work out with the coders. So the faster you move, the more wind hits you, which really adds a lot. We had that in the first system, and it added a ton. And then even if I jump down there, there's less wind. Let me make my way. Here, I'll just jump it. So now there's less wind. We hear some of the stuff that would be out on the road, different sirens and whatnot. But yeah, that wind it makes a huge difference, you know, depending where you're at.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't know that was already in.
No, you're good. I just wanted to show you what we have thus far.
Nah, so cool. Love it. I also think like that airtime, like as you're jumping off one of the high buildings, like I guess that's player sound stuff, but like a whoosh through the air, like just giving I guess a sense of like moving through the air, especially with like the airtime on roof gaps and stuff. Like the impact when you land is one thing, like David's talking about, but also whilst you're in the air, kind of having that like atmospheric whooshing as you kind of cut through it would be really sick.
Yeah, that is that dynamic wind system that I
mentioned. Right.
Basically, the faster you're moving, which during a fall or jump, you gain that speed. It increases to your ears. We just need to get that over into the coding because it's in a blueprint right now, and we can't use the blueprints. It messes up the system. So we have that pre-planned and ready to go. We just have to switch that over into the new into coding, basically.
Nice, man. Sick.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, that like I love when you jump off the building and then as you were crashing there was an ambulance sound.
Yeah, and then there's the helicopter sounds and whatnot that I think the sounds add quite a lot of the life to the area, like David was talking about earlier. Like we need some visual cues for life. Like cranes moving or other things moving. I think that is very true, and the audio adds a lot of almost it adds audio cues of life that you're like, oh, there's a helicopter flying by, there's an ambulance. It kind of sells that, and obviously I'll tighten those up once I know what the actual level looks like, because if it doesn't make sense to have X sound in that area, we'll remove it. But yeah, I think it adds quite a lot of that sense of life in there.
Nice, super. So yeah, I think that is the end of the review. So I would like to say a massive thanks and congratulations to Mustafa, Florian, and Francesco for incredible hard work. I don't think I missed anyone. And yeah, so let's catch up in the user channels. Yeah, that's it. Unless anybody wants to add anything.
Yeah, we're good.
Looks it, guys.
As well. So I'll end the stream and the meeting. So yeah, I'll catch you all in 2 minutes because I'm not going anywhere.
Peace.
Ciao, ciao.
Nice one,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Peace.